Hey, what's up, sports bettors? It's Matt Moda here with OddsJam. Player props are starting to get posted for NFL Sunday's slate, so I'm going to be locking in some early player props that I have found value in. I'll just say it, both of these player props were on Caesars Sportsbook, so make sure to boot up Caesars as you're watching this. Of course, most importantly, both of them were found using OddsJam, using the positive expected value software. With the recommended filters button selected, you are only getting the most profitable bets that you can almost blindly bet on and be profitable. So with player props starting to get posted, everybody knows I love me some player props. There are two that I found a lot of value in. So I'm going to go ahead and lock both of them in. I'm just putting on a half unit each. First one, Mitch Trubisky over 15.5 passing yards. Second one, Kenny Golladay, longest reception over 16.5. I'll admit that one feels gross, Kenny Golladay, because of how bad he's been. But with the value that I got on it using OddsJam, I decided to lock it in because at the end of the day, it's about the math, it's about the value over anything else. So let me go ahead and place these. Both bets have been placed and we're good to go. So let's chat about it. The first one, Mitch Trubisky over 15.5 rushing yards. So I mentioned that I found it using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page. What does positive EV mean? What does positive expected value mean? Essentially, when you just not even think about it from a sports perspective, but the definition of positive expected value means that you are placing a bet that you know has a better chance of occurring than the odds that you are getting that bet at. And I'll show you exactly what that means. So these no VIG odds that you see here, right? The VIG is just the juice that sportsbooks price odds. It's how they make their money. So in order to get an accurate representation of what they view as a line, it's what they view the line to be, I should say, it's important to remove the VIG. And OddsJam, thanks to thousands and thousands of bets of being back tested and just an insane amount of data being processed, OddsJam found out which sportsbooks were the most sharp at pricing certain markets. And the no VIG odds that they're calculating are being pulled as a weighted average from all of these different sharp sportsbooks. And with the recommended filters button selected, the positive expected value page is only providing betting opportunities that are clear outliers when compared to the rest of the betting market. And most importantly, when compared to the sharp sportsbooks. So that is why the positive EV page is so valuable. That is why the recommended filters are so valuable. And that is why I've made so much money using OddsJam. I've used it for about a year now. My profit's over 13K. Actually, I think it just dipped below 13K recently with, I had 2 bad weeks in a row. It was above 13. Now it's a little bit below, but regardless, still very good in about a year. And my bankroll has only increased as I've been using it. So this first one, Mitchell Trubisky over 15.5 rushing yards. The no VIG odds price this at about minus 100, minus 100.37. And the odds on Caesars that we bet it at were plus 104, as you can see here. So what that means is the gap between these two numbers, that is where you get your positive expected value from. In this case, profit margin of about 2.19%. I've gotten a lot of questions about the profit margin. How can it make sense for you to have a profit margin for a bet that hasn't taken place yet? It's a fair question. I get it. You need to keep in mind that this is your theoretical profit margin and that over time, your theoretical profit margin of one positive expected value bet, if you add all that together, will equal your actual profit over the course of a large sample size. I'm talking like 250, 500, 1,000 bets. You will see your mathematical profit margin, your EV percent, equal your actual profit. So that's why we tell you your profit margin of $2.20. Another thing, or I guess in this case 2.2%, I put $50 on it, so $1.10. I understand that these EV percents, the 2.2%, is relatively low when you just think about it. Oh, congrats, you made $1.10. A couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, obviously people have different sized bankrolls. My 1 unit is about 100. But for player props, especially this early, I went a little bit on the safer route. But more importantly, it's one bet. If you add up a bunch of bets that you're placing over the course of a week, over the course of an NFL Sunday, that one bet turns into 20. 25. I mean, think about how many bets you're placing. And also think about that this profit will be realized on Sunday when this game is played. Normally, if you're investing in stocks, you'll see like 8% return on a year. You're getting 2.2% return on one given bet. So if you take all these bets on the page, you are making significantly over that 8% stock return. So that's the math behind it. For football reasons, I get it. This Pittsburgh Steelers offense really struggled last week. They also got 5 turnovers off of Joe Burrow and were winning that whole time. So Mitchell Trubisky just played it safe. My guess is against the Patriots in a game that's probably going to be low scoring. My guess is that they're going to use Trubisky's legs a little bit more. And all he needs to get is 16 yards. That's not a ton. Trubisky's a pretty athletic quarterback. He's not a good quarterback, but he is athletic. I will give him that. So I get it for math reasons. He didn't hit this prop last game, but like I said, they were up that whole game. He only ran it 3 times. My guess is that number will be higher this week. So I like it for handicapping reasons, but the most important reason, obviously, is the math behind it, the 2.2% profit margin. And then one thing I forgot to show, of course, compare it across all of the different markets. This is what I meant to do. So you can take out Underdog and Prize Picks because those have the same odds for every single player prop. But look at BetMGM. They have the over priced at -120. The under at -110. BetMGM thinks the most likely scenario is that this goes over. DraftKings has it at -115 each way, still pricing it significantly lower and more likely to occur than Caesars. And then, of course, most importantly, OddsJam, pulled from Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, has the same exact odds as BetMGM, thinking that the over is the more likely scenario. And we got it at +104 on Caesars. We got it for plus money. Caesars was the only sportsbook of all of them that think that the most likely scenario is that it goes under, pricing that at -142. So what's the more likely scenario here? That all of these books, BetMGM, DraftKings, Pinnacle Sportsbook, are correct, and that Caesars has it as a mispriced line? Or is Caesars the smartest sportsbook in the world and all these other ones are incorrect? The more likely scenario is the former, that first option. When there's one sportsbook that is an outlier across all of them, including a sharp one like Pinnacle, that sportsbook is most likely just a mispriced line, which is exactly what positive EV betting is and taking advantage of. So I like this one a lot. I put a half unit on it. The next one, I get it, feels gross for football reasons. He's been horrible, but the math behind it checks out. So again, I locked it in. +102 on Caesars. The OddsJam line prices that with the VIG removed at about -101.5. And same logic here. This time we're looking at DraftKings and OddsJam. DraftKings has it at -120, the under at -110, having the over as the more likely scenario. Pinnacle has it at -115 each way. Either way, a pretty big outlier from Caesars at +102, showing me that this is another form of a valuable bet. So both of them have been locked in, as you saw here. Now I just need to add both of them to my bet tracker. Tracking your bets is incredibly important. You can see whether your bet is still green in terms of beating the closing line or not, or if the odds moved against you and that bet is now red. If it is red, you can go and see if you can cash it out. And it just gives you insights to all of your different betting analytics, which for a numbers guy like me, I always thought was pretty cool. So all this information, as you can see, a little bit under 13K. I was above it, had a couple down weeks in a row. At one point, I was significantly above it, but that's okay. We'll get it back this week. I'm very confident. But that's going to be it. That's going to be the video. So 2 player prop bets. Again, Mitch Trubisky over 15.5 rushing yards. Kenny Golladay longest reception over 16.5. And that's it. So appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel to continue to get my NFL best bets, Alex's NFL best bets, the OddsJam co-founder. And that's it. So enjoy NFL week 2 and have a good one.